Hi everyone, good evening. Hope you all are doing well. As you all know, today we have event of how to contribute in Google Summer of Code. And for this event, we have Ankit sir with us. He is SD intern at Amazon and has a great experience of Google Summer of Code, basically GSoC of 2021. So welcome sir, welcome to Squad Growth.
Yeah, thanks, Shaurya, for inviting me to this amazing talk.
Yes sir. Sir, please proceed the event.
Yeah, so firstly, let me give my intro. So I am Ankit, and I am currently in final year of my computer science and engineering from NIT Hamirpur. And apart from that, currently I am doing NST intern in the Amazon, and also I am the project maintainer and mentor at the OWASP organization. And before that, I have done some internships in startup like Adventurist. There I have worked in machine learning and backend stuff. And after that, I have done some internship in Standard Chartered. And after that, I have done Google Summer of Code with OBAS organization in 2021. And now I am also the mentor of Google Summer of Code 2022. So in this session, I will give you some brief about the Google Summer of Code, like how you can contribute to the Google Summer of Code, and like if you are a beginner, then what steps you can take. So we should start now. Uh, Yeah, so firstly, before discussing what Google Summer of Code is, I will let you know like what open source is. So what like most of the people have confusion about the open source. Like most people think like only contributing to open source organization and contributing some code towards some packages and doing some contribution towards some coding skills. It is only open source, but actually it is not the case. Like if you are engaged with some communities and you are also maintaining some doc, like you are doing some documentation into the open source communities, so it is also the part of open source. Like I want to make a REST API and I want a good data set for that. Like I also want to train a machine learning model, and then I also you can also maintain a data set for that. So this also comes under the category of open source. If the data set is open for everyone, then you can also maintain that. So it is not only about the software technologies and all those stuff. So it also there is a term like open source software OSS, which comes in the software part. So open source is all about it. uh, People do some contribution toward open source communities, and like open source communities are quite distributed, and you can do some good contribution toward open source. Then after that, now I will tell you about what is Google Summer of Code. So like Google Summer of Code is a program. So it is an online program which was designed by Google and designed to encourage the university students. But now, like in the previous year, only the university students can only participate. But from the 2022, if you are not a university student, or if you are a full-time job employee, or some one who just want to contribute to open source, then you can also participate in the Google Summer of Code. So in Google Summer of Code, student work for an open source software organization, and after doing a good contribution toward the open source community, their mentor evaluate their project. And then after some evaluation, if they think like you have done some good contribution towards it, then you also receive a stipend for that. And also you can also receive some good opportunity to intern in that organization, and also becoming a mentor in the organization. Yeah, so that's about the Google Summer of Code. So like what are the goals of the program, like why Google organized this program? So what Google Summer of provide is it help organization continue to identify and bring in new developer each year. Like I was participating in the Google Summer of Code 2021 in the OWASP organization. Then what they like reached me for the intern as well, and like they reached me like if I can be the mentor for the next Google Summer of Code program. So you get also organization also reaching towards you, like if they think you are a good developer, then organization give you opportunity to participate in their open source contributions and become the maintainer of the project as well. Also Google design this program so that people or the student get a real life exposure of the project. Like if you want to make the CI/CD pipeline, or you want to make the project from the scratch, and you want to get to know about the what is scalability, so you get some good real life exposure for that. Like some there are some very good open source program in the Google Summer of Code where you can participate, and you can get a very good amount of exposure. Also it helps student to develop a strong community. Like if you are participating in the Google Summer of Code in some organization, and then you are engaged with a good amount of like 1200 people's community. You are like 1200 people's from in every year to Google Summer of Code, then you can engage with them and then can learn many things from them. So these are some of the goals for the program. Like it also helps open source community to grow, and in parallelly it is also a good advantage for the student as well. Yeah. So there are some eligibilities which are defined for doing Google Summer of Code. So like we can discuss about it. Like some basic requirements for doing Google Summer of Code is like firstly you should be above 18 year of age. Like it is a like not a very big deal, but actually like also there is a story involved in my past as well. Like when I was in the first year of my college, I was trying to Google Summer of Code, but I was 17 year of age. So yeah, you should also consider this as well. Apart from that, you should be eligible to work in that country, where so it is the most basic requirement for any organization if you want to do a job as well. So it is the most basic eligibility that you should be eligible to work in that country wherever you are residing. Also like you should not be the mentor or the organization administrator in any open source country or open source community. So like if I am in 2022, like if I am the mentor for the OWASP organization, then I cannot participate in the Google Summer of Code as a student. I can participate as a mentor, but I cannot participate as a student. Yeah, so these are the some of the basic requirement you should follow. So you should be eligible for this requirement to participate in the Google Summer of Code. Now we will discuss about like how you can submit your project proposals, and how should be your project proposal, and how many proposals you can write. So GSoC contributor may submit a project proposal to the organization through a website. Like there is a timeline for the Google Summer of Code. There like there is a website named Summer of Code with google.com. You can go there and you can just register yourself there, and from there is a specific timeline follow for every year. You can just register, and then you can like if, in the past years you could just submit 3 project proposal. uh, and it's not like if you are selected, if you have submitted 3 project proposal, then you can also get selected for the 3 project proposal. It's not the case. If you have submitted 3 project proposal, and then you should only be eligible for the one project. Like if you have submitted one project proposal for one organization, and another for another project proposal for another organization, then there is a preference which you have to follow. Like if your first preference is another organization or another project, you should put it in the first column or the row, then the second, and then the third. So these you can submit at most 3 project proposal. So after like if when you have submitted the project proposal, and suppose more than two or more than one or two organization is interested in you, then what they takes is they look at your preference. So if your preference for, if a organization is your first preference, they will consider you then. So also if a project proposal is for a project, then Google's GSoC contributor is already, if you are working on a GSoC project priorly, then it's not the case like your evaluation is done on that basis. Like if you have done some good contribution, like you have done a contribution, then it's not the case like you are going to get passed without any contribution in the GSoC timeline. But it's the case like your acceptance rate for the like you can there is a good chance like you can get selected for the Google Summer of Code, but it's not the case like you can get passed. Yeah, so this is the brief about the project proposals and how many project proposals you can submit. Yeah, so now I will discuss about the timeline for the Google Summer of Code. So let me give you some info about from the starting. Like in the December 2021, Google announced like they are going to do this program again in the 2022 as well. It's not the case like they do program every year. They just decide in the ending of the year, like if they are going to do this program again and again or not. So they decided to do this program again in the December 2021, and then they gave a timeline for the Google Summer of Code program in 2022. So the timeline starts from the Feb 7, in the past, it is in the past. From the Feb 7th, the mentoring organization, like you can also participate as a organization as well. Anybody can participate as an organization. There is some criteria you have to follow. You have to give proposal to the GSoC administrator so that you can participate in the organization. If you are very new to that program and you have not participated in the GSoC as an organization priorly, then it's very difficult to get the chance for Google Summer of Code, but you can then try next year as well. So also so this is the case with organization as well. They had to give they have to submit an application as like student as well. So from the Feb 7th they started submitting their application, and it continues till 21st of Feb. Mentoring organization, it was the deadline for the mentoring organization, like filled some application for participating in the Google Summer of Code, and then after the deadline they got to know like Google has accepted their proposal, and now they are going to participate in the Google Summer of Code. So from the 21st of 6th 21st Feb to 6th March, Google administrator just reviewed their organization applications. They just reviewed like how your organization performed prior in the previous year as well. So how many students get selected every year in your organization, and how they contributed, how much people passed, and what is the success rate. So after taking these metrics, Google shortlisted some organization, and these are some 200 above organization which they shortlisted, and then these organization are now participating in the Google Summer of Code. Then from the 7th March, the organization was published on the Summer of Code with google.com page. So this is the page where you can get all the info from all the info for the program. And on 7th of March, the organization were listed. Then also 7th of March to 3rd April, like today is 2nd of April. So up to 3rd April, GSoC contributors, like a student who want to participate in the Google Summer of Code in this year, they can discuss about their ideas with the mentors. Like I am the mentor, then student are reaching out to me about their project ideas, and like also mentor can also ask with the organization, like they want to do this project this year and as well. So yeah, so this is the basic timeline. And then after that, 4th of April, 4th of April, there are some 10 days where GSO contributors, like you firstly have to make a draft proposal for the Google Summer of Code. So for making some draft proposal, you should know about the project, whatever you are going to do. You should take advice from the mentors as well. So you can firstly you should start making the draft proposal. Then after 4th of April, you can start publishing your application onto the official Google website, which is summer of code with google.com. Then this is the starting of the application period for the student as like organization. Like 7th of Feb was the for the organization, and now this is for the students whoever want to participate. So after that, 19th of April, it's the deadline for the students who just want to contribute the open source, who just want to contribute into the open source. So 19th April is the deadline. Any application after this deadline will not be considered by the Google. And after that, there is timeline for 12th May. Like they are GSO contributor, like organization admins from the various open source communities just request some slot for the project. Like if 15 people want to contribute to the OWASP, then mentor schedule a meeting with each other, and they decide like we want to request 15 or 16 slots from the Google. So this is the starting date where you can ask for the slot from the Google administrator, like for your organization. Then after that, May 20th is the project announced date. Uh, on the May 20th, like whatever the student who want to participate in the Google Summer of Code, and if their application is shortlisted by the Google and as well as the organization, then they will be announced on the official Google Summer of Code website. Then after that is the coding and community bonding period. 20th, there is 3 weeks community bonding period. Like this community bonding period is like doing some meets with the mentor and understanding about the mentor, as well as there is maintaining some relationship with them, uh, 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 so that like if you want to contribute, then they can help. And like if you want to build some front end application, then you can design the Figma in that period, and you can take help from the mentor, like how you should proceed in the upcoming weeks. So this is all about the community bonding period. You can take any help from the mentors. They will definitely reply for that. You can ask about anything, any resource which you should learn for doing this project. So then June 13th is the official coding timeline. From then you have to make it, whatever the proposal you have made, you have to put all the timeline, like how you are going to proceed in that project. So this is the starting period of the coding. And after week by week, you have to give some review about your coding and whatever the progress you are doing to your mentors. Then there will be a 1.5 month 1.5 a month timeline. There you have to do some coding and give some progress to the project and give some review about that weekly to the mentors as well. So 25 July, after 1.5 months, mentors and GSoC contributors can begin submitting their phase one evaluation. So phase one evaluation is just like whatever the task you have done in the 1.5 months and how much project have you completed in those timeline. So after, if the mentors think like you are going good and you can complete whole the project, it is not like a very important thing, but you should give some data points to the mentors and the organization that you are going to complete the project. It's not the very necessary or something, but if you have not done anything, like mentor doesn't think like you are going to complete everything in the period, so they might fail you as well. So you should take care of that. And after that, whatever the prior preparation you can do for the Google Summer of Code. So these are the some basic things you should know for starting a contribution in the open source as well. So first is the version control system. So version control system is like how you can check out and check in whole code, and how you can pull the code and you can do some contribution in a team as well. So some basic example for that is Git and GitLab. So you should know about this version control system. So it is the most basic requirement for doing any open source contribution, because if you do not know about this tool, so you cannot proceed further. And second thing is Linux. It is not very much necessary if your project is not involved in this Linux, but most of the project in the open source community is engaged or using some Linux operating system. So you should also know about some at least the basics for the Linux. And next thing is command line. You should also know about some shell scripting. Like most of the projects you are going through, like if you want to build the backend, so at least you should know about the bash, what is the bash, and how you can run the commands into the bash, so that it makes the work easy. So and next thing is testing, automated testing, and all those test cases you can write for the backend application or the front end application as well. Your testing skill is very necessary in the open source softwares. Also, it is also good to have if you are going to do some internship as well. So testing is you should know. And one of the most basic advice that I want to give, if you want to do Google Summer of Code, then you should start early. So if you want to, I wanted to make a contribution to the OWASP. So from the 1 year I was like thinking about like I should contribute. I was very clear about the OWASP, like I want to do some contribution. So I was engaged with mentors, what I was giving them ideas for the project, like whatever we can build. So it is very good thing if you can start early, do not do everything at the last moment, so it will make things difficult. You should be engaged with the mentors priorly. So yeah, so you should start very early. It helps you to participate in the GSoC as well. So you have a good chance if you start early. After that, we will proceed to what organization you should choose. I choose the OWASP organization, and before that I have also tried to some organization. So it is most important thing to choose a good organization for yourself. So these are some of the basic things, or some of the basic question you should ask to yourself, like for choosing an organization. So what open source software do you use? I was using net attacker and some ethical hacking tools, and I was interested in cyber security. So I chose OWASP because I was very much interested. So if you are using some prior softwares for that, like it is also a good, like whenever you are writing a proposal, then it is a good thing if you are writing that I am using your open source software from a 2 year or 1 year. So it gives them like data point, like he is very much interested in our organization, so he can do a good contribution in this organization. So this is the most basic thing you should take care of that. And after that, what are your personal interests? Like if you want to you are going to contribute in the open source community, or you want to do some intern after that. So these are the things you should consider, like if you want to become you wanted to become a mentor in the next year as well. So you should choose an organization like that. You can also become a mentor if you choose any organization actually, but it is good to take care of that as well if you have done some prior contribution. And choosing an organization where you have done some contribution and there is a chance for your participation. And what are your hobbies, what is your skill set, like if you know some cyber security, or if you know some shell scripting, if you know some machine learning, then you can engage with those organizations which are of your interest and your skill set. So it also it is also a good thing to go with an organization with your skill set. It is not like mandatory, uh, but yeah, it is a good thing. It increase your chance of participation as well. Also, what you want to get out of GSoC, like whatever you like, you want to engage with the community for a long time or not, like you wanted to become the maintainer for the project as well. So whatever you want to get out, like some internship opportunities or something, so you can take care of that. Like in Novas there are some projects like where I can intern as well. So there are some factor you can consider while choosing an organization. Yeah, so this is these are some factors for you to choose an organization. And after that, like how you can contact to an organization. So yeah, so whenever you go to Summer of Code with google.com website, mm, there is a channel list or form or mailing list. Like when you just explore the website, there are some links which you can take as reference to their Slack channel or Gitter channel, or any channel like Telegram or Discord, and any mailing list. So you can contact them through that. Most of the organization have Slack channels for their projects, and you can look for that. And one of the basic thing is like you should contact the mentor prior like you should know about if you want to participate in that organization, you should look out for 4 or 5 organization you want to participate. And you should maintain a good relationship with the mentors for the project, so it also increases your chance for the participation. And you can contact the mentors on this Slack or the mailing list before the announcement of program as well. So if you are doing some good contribution before the announcement of the program as well, so it really boost up your chances, and you can easily participate in the organization. So contacting the organization and contacting the mentors of that project is the most important thing in the whole Google Summer of Code participation. Yeah, so like you can also contribute to that project priorly, and then you can also contact to the organization and the mentors for any project idea or whatever the project you are going to you are going to contribute in. Yeah, so these are the things you should take care in the while participating in the Google Summer of Code. So also now we are going to discuss about some of the responsibilities that you should take care and there are some responsibilities to your mentor as well as your organization admin as well. So to your mentor, you should submit whatever the things you are going to do in the Google Summer of Code. Make sure like you have completed all the things. If you are going to do more things into the organization, like you have completed all the project, whatever the things you have written in your proposal, and you are also exploring some more things, then it will be excellent thing. But you should take care of all the things like whatever you have written in your proposal. So it is a good idea to also contribute more than whatever you have written in your proposal. You should provide some and submit good quality of work to your mentors, and also communicate with them weekly at least. You should have a meet with your mentor even if they are not contacting you, like if they are not even contacting you or anything, like they are not asking for any update from you. You should be the owner of your project, and you own this project, and you should ask about your mentor for the meet. You should schedule the meet yourself. So you should take the ownership of the project, and you should re-evaluate your work weekly, like whatever the things you are doing. So you should mention the things, whatever the blockers you are getting to your mentor. What You should reevaluate all the things in 1 2 days, and then make a list of the things, whatever is blocking you. So it is a good idea to keep a communication with your mentor. And if they are giving you some feedback, then take it seriously. Then there is a very rare cases like you get some feedback uh, directly from the mentors, like but if they are giving you some feedback again and again, you should take care of that, because there might be a chance you are doing some things whichever you should not do. So you should take care of all the feedback. Also, there are some responsibilities towards the organization admin as well. Like if you are getting some difficulty in uh, towards the communication with your mentor, like you are not able to communicate with the mentor, or they are not responding, and uh, there is some case like they are not responding, then what you can do is like contact the organization admin. And whatever they can do is like they can just discuss and do a meet with your mentor, and then give you some thing like so that you can communicate with each other. And if you have some disagreement with your mentor, then your organization admin should also be aware of that, so that you will not get failed or something. So you should take care of this responsibility toward your mentor and as well as your organization admin. So yeah, these are some of the responsibilities. Yeah, so now we are going to discuss about the advantages of participating in Google Summer of Code. So there are many advantages of participating in Google Summer of Code, like or exposure, and like whatever the things you are getting. Like for the exposure part, you are contributing to a open source community. So yeah, it is quite obvious you will be getting a good amount of exposure from your mentors, from your organization admins, from actually the community. Like you are going um, more 1200 people are also participating along with you, so you are getting a good amount of exposure from them. So yeah, this is quite a very huge advantage for participating in the Google Summer of Code. And also you get a cool stipend for that. In this year, stipend is more than the previous year. Like in this year as well, you can also extend the program. There are some new roles for the stipend as well. If you want to extend your program after the 3 months, like it was of 3 months for the previous year. Now in this year, if you want to extend the program, then you will get more stipend, and also you are going to contribute in the open source community for long. So it is a good idea to extend your program as well. Also, full-time employees can also do some contribution towards it. And next is brand making. So yeah, this is also quite obvious thing. Like if you put something in your resume, like you have done some Google Summer of Code contribution. So yeah, some startup like prefer some Google Summer of Code people, and you can easily get some interviews for that. Yeah, also you like if you are from some college wherever the placement is not going up to the mark, then it is a good idea to Google Summer of Code because you are getting a good name in your resume. Yeah, so it is a good advantage for doing Google Summer of Code as well. Yeah, oh, and the next thing is ticket to conferences and another thing. Yeah, so you can participate in the Google Code Summit and many conferences like Ubigon and all those. So it is like if you have done some good contribution, then you can discuss and you can apply for some conferences as well to discuss about your work into that conferences. So it is a good thing, like if you can participate in these conferences. So yeah, Google Summer of Code give you a good chance to participate in all those things. So these are some of the good advantages, and there are many more advantages as well. So these are some good advantages of participating in Google Summer of Code. Yeah, that's the thing from my end. Like whatever I have discussed, yeah, these are the things you should know before participating in the Google Summer of Code. Yeah, hi, Shorya.
Yes, sir. So there are actually two questions posted in the Discord. So
Yeah.
just read it. So one is how many times I can apply for GSoC if I have already qualified GSoC.
Yeah, then you can apply only one time. Like if I have applied and participated in the Google Summer of Code in the previous year, then I could only participate in this year or the next year. I can participate in the Google Summer of Code at most two times, but I can apply I can apply many times.
Okay. And so there is another question. I can only become mentor if I have qualified GSoC at least one time.
No, no, no. It's not the case as well. Like it is not like compulsory thing to for the mentor. Like you should be a Google Summer of Code student. It is not the compulsory thing. Like if you have done some other open source program as well, like if you have done Linux, LFX, or like if you have done some prior open source contribution, so you can ask with mentors and the organization admins, like you are eligible for becoming the mentor as you have done some good contribution in the past. So you can show them their contribution and you are also eligible for becoming the mentor.
Okay, great, sir. So there is not any other questions. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much
Okay,
for
okay.
providing insane amount of knowledge to our community. It was
Yeah, yeah, thanks,
was
sure,
great.
yeah, it was my pleasure.